All right, this is ITS 128, and it's November 13th. And today we are going to continue where we left off last time. Let me see. Let me share my screen with you. This, and share. Okay, so if I go to, we were last week. If you look at the resources class videos, you'll see last week I did assignment 8 on November 8th, and then when I was done with assignment 8, I did assignment 9 from assignment 8, and I was able to get through that pretty quickly. So this video here, I noticed I did it on the same day. This video starts with assignment 8 and ends with assignment 9. And so what I'm going to do today is I think I saved that program, and that would be in my, I think I had it assignment 9 zip, I think. Let's see. Okay, so that, and I uploaded that November 8th. Okay, at the end of the hour. Okay, so let me download this and see where I am here. So this is it. I'm going to close this. I'm going to move this out onto the desktop. Get rid of this and close this. And so this is my assignment 9. And let me open it up. Let's, while this is opening up, let's go to our assignments and let's take a look at what assignment 9 was. It was to first do assignment 8, which was to make it so you could use the return key when you're entering in a name, put in an open file dialog box to select the file that you're going to save your friends in. Put a list box on there so we can see the current list of all the names. Add logic to your code so it doesn't add a name more than once. And change the labels and key and the variable names and so on in the program, because you actually start with the tutorial 5-5 solution. That was assignment 8. Assignment 9, we took assignment 8 and we made it so you could delete a name by selecting the person using the list box and clicking on a delete button. So we added the ability to delete a name. We also put a confirmation message up there to say, "Are you sure?" And then I asked you to modularize your code, into some methods. And see, this around assignment 9 is when we start chapter 7. Today is the 13th, which is the third day of chapter 7. And it's arrays and lists. Modularizing your code is back here. This is where assignments, let me see when assignment, well anyway, yeah, assignment 9 was, I think it was still modularizing your code. And then assignment 10 is arrays and lists. So, so let's look at assignment 10, because that's what we're going to do today. Oh, first, yeah, so let's look at assignment 10. And what that is first do assignments 8 and 9, and then for assignment 10, store the names in an array upon initialization. Modify your code so once the array is initialized, all references that were to the file are now to the array. And then make sure your code only reads the file once within the form in the onload event handler. Add a button to save your array into the file, I notice here using an form onload event handler. I actually changed it and added a button. So I'm going to make that optional. Let me just quickly edit that. Because lately I've been showing you by putting it in a button. And it's either there. Okay. Make sure your code reads the file once, either within the form onload event handler or with a separate button. Add a button on your form to save your array into the file. So there's a button to load the array and the list box, by the way, from the array, and then there's another button to save from the array back out into the file. You read from the file into the array, and then from the array back out into the file. When the user clicks on the exit button and changes have been made to the array since it was last saved, your program will ask the user whether to save the array before exiting. Add a label on your form that will indicate that the array has actually changed since the last time it was saved out, and you may disable the save button to indicate the file is up to date, and enable the save button to indicate the array has changed. So in other words, the save button won't work if the file is up to date. It'll be enabled once you add something into the array or you delete something out of the array. In which case the array now is different than what the file is. You see, so then a save button will come to life, and the user can press that if they want to. And then add a function where your program where the user can enter a name and click a button and say whether or not the person is in the list or not. If it's in your list, it'll return the index number. Yeah, okay. So that's sort of a prelude to a search. The next assignment, I'm going to have you where you be able to alphabetize the names. I'm going to do the next assignment's going to have a two-dimensional array. So it's going to store the first name and the last name. And then you'll be able to sort the names by sort by last name. All right, so let's start assignment 10. Let's see assignment 9 working. First, let me sign in here. Am I recording? Huh? Yes. Yeah, okay. Stop. Yeah, okay, I'm recording. No, that's not the right password. All right, close. Let's start this up and see what it looks like. All right, so we can start by choosing a file. Okay, there's a default file. There must be. So there's a default file here, friend.txt. So this must be friend.txt. That's what it says right there, friend.txt. And we can enter a friend's name, Joe. Joe Jones. Right name. Okay, Joe Jones. And we can delete a name. Let's delete Chris Rich. Yes. All right. And we can choose a different file. This would be down in here, in bin, in debug. I've got another file here, this one. Let's see what this one looks like. Yes, I want to replay. Oh. Anyway, it's got these three people. I respell her name. All right. And now I can save the. Oh, I don't have the save in here, Oh, that's because I don't have the array or anything. Okay, so this is up to assignment 9, which is I can actually write stuff here. You can enter, you don't have to click the right button. Dialog box is there, list box is there. Avoid adding a name twice. Let's confirm that. I'm going to try to type in Mary Brown. Name already exists. Okay, that's nice. Delete, and we were able to delete a name. There was a confirmation box. Oh, modularize your code as much as possible. Okay, let's take a look at that. So we've got, well, let's see what this is an event handler. Let me just stop this. So this is an event handler which ends down here. This is an awfully big event handler. You shouldn't write code. Shouldn't write. That's okay, I guess. So this is when you click on the button to enter a name in. Okay, so that's an event handler. This is an event handler. This is an event handler. This is the form onload event handler. This is here is a method that's not an event handler. It doesn't have this on it. So this loads the list box. This reads the file. File name should be defined already. It is up here. It's either defined up here, or when you click on when you click on choose file. When you click on choose file, this asks you the file name. This thing asks you the file name and returns it here. And then this writes it into the label. And then, so once you have the file name, this loads the list box. And this is the method that we created last time, which executes this load the list box code. So when you choose a new file, it loads the list box, reads the file, clears out the list box, reads them up, loading them in, adding them in one at a time, and then closing the file. When you delete a name here, it asks you, are you sure? And this is how you do a dialog box, which shows an OK and a cancel. And if it returns OK, then this is the name you're going to delete. And this is the index that you're going to delete. And how do we do this? We read. Okay, so we open up the file. We're gonna use the list box, we're going to grab the names out of the list box one by one. And we're going to write them to the file. So we're going to do this by rewriting the file from the list box. And when we rewrite the file, we're going to not write the name that we want to delete. See, so we have our list box, and it's got the name that we want to delete selected. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the contents of the list box, and we're going to refresh the file. So it's kind of like we're saving the file. In fact, we are saving the file. We're resaving the file. We're saving it, but we're by writing the names back out to it, but we're skipping the actual name that we want to delete. That's what this does. So as long as it's not the name we want to delete, then we write it back out again. And then once we're done, we close the file. Okay, so the file is closed. And then we got to reload the list box because you know the list box still has that name in there that we wanted to delete. It's in fact selected. So the way so now we reload the list box, and then it looked like the name just disappeared. So here we're using the method again. So that's another place. It's two places we use the method. We use the method with the form load. We use the method. This is the method that we. And then we also use the method when we choose the button. This method loads the list box. Oh, and we also use it here when you enter in a new name. The way this works is it writes it into the file. It writes the name into the file, and then it reloads the list box. It actually first checks to see if the file is if the name is already in the file. It first checks to see if the name is already in the file. And the way it does it is it loops reading the file. Now, we could loop reading the list box. Down here, right, we loop. Down here we loop, looking at the list box one item at a time. But we've chosen to just read through the file, and if it's there, the name's already there, then we don't do anything. It's only if the name is not there. See here we loop through the file, and if the name is there, we set this name exists variable to true, and we loop while the name exists equals false, or until we get to the end of the string. So when this loop is done, then name exists will either be true or false. If it's true, that means the name's already in there, so we don't do anything. We say name already exists. But if the name is not in there, then we do this part here, and we open up the file, and we add the name to the output file. And then once we've done adding the name to the output file, we load up the list box again. Okay, so that's how assignment 9 works. So now let's start doing assignment 10. So let's take this and convert it to assignment 10. I'm gonna, I guess I'll just leave this the way it is. Let me go see what the assignment 10 has us do. Store the names in an array. Okay. Store the names in an array upon initialization. Okay, so so first I want to, up at the top, let me declare an array. We've declared a file name. Let me declare an array. I'm gonna use a constant to specify a maximum size of the array, maximum number of friends, private, constant, integer, size, max size. How about this? Max size, or max friends equals, I'm going to say the max I'll have a, my screen went blank. I hate that one. All right, 100. I'm not going to have more than 100 friends. And then I'm going to declare my array. So private, I'm going to make it private. String, it's a string array. It's an array. This is the type. It's a string array. And I'm going to name it array friends. And it's going to be a new string of size, max friends, that. Okay, so this is how you declare an array with a name, array friends, I named it. And it can hold up to max friends names. Max friends is 100. Okay, now the way I'm gonna, so I got this array and I don't have 100 friends. Right now the array's got 0 friends in it. So I'm gonna have a variable. Okay, so when I add friends to this array, I'm gonna start at array position number 0, which is the first one, and then it's gonna go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I have 6 friends, it'll go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I have 10 friends, it'll be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. And so I'm going to keep track of the next free spot to put a friend. I'm going to keep track of the first open array position to add a new friend. And so I'm going to call that one, it's private. I'll make it private. It's an integer and it's an array index. And I'm going to call it first free index. And when we start out at 0, because there's nothing in the array, so the first free position to put a name is index number 0, the first spot. All right, so that's good for now. And then the somewhere where we're loading up the file, we should instead load the array. So where does that happen? Enter name. No. It happens. Let's see. It's been a while since I looked. Oh, choose file would do it. Choose file. Let's see. Where's choose file opens up load list box. Load list box. I'm going to make a load array. I'm going to make a load array. All right, so when we choose a file, I want to well, I'm going to come back to this later. Load list box, void load list box. Okay, so I'm going to make a I'm going to do a copy paste, and I'm going to say load array. This load array. Okay, it's different. Reads it up. Stream reader input, just like that. While this is index int, because I'm starting at the beginning, index equals 0, starting at the beginning. So it doesn't matter what's in the array right now. I'm loading it up. And so this is it. This is that. It is while this is true. in array friends, index equals that. And after that, I want to increment it. So I'm just going to go plus plus. So after we use it, I want to increment it. So I'm going to combine those into one statement. And so while we're not at the end of stream, and index is less than max friends, don't want to overload the array with too many friends. Okay, so while the index is that, this reads up all the names and loads them into the array. And then I need to set what the highest index is. Actually, what I can do is I can even make this more first free index. That's not int. It's already declared. Okay, so it's this one up here. First free index. Okay, I'm loading this up and I'm going to use this variable instead. There we go. Isn't that nice and compact? So when you get to be if you're actually a computer scientist, this is an elegant solution. It's only 4 lines. We open up the file, we load up the array, and we close it up again. And we set free index. So free index is pointing to the last. It's the index of the first free place to add in a new name. Okay, then listbox is loaded from the array. So load listbox is now actually this. While for int index equals 0, index is less than first free index, index plus plus. Last name add array friends bracket index. Yeah. All right. Don't need this. All right, I think that loads up the list box from the array. Okay, so we've got those 2 things. And form load, I want to load the array, then load the list box, don't I? Load array. Then I want to load the list box. Choose a file. I want to load the array, then load the list box. All right. Now when we mess with it, what do we do? Okay, we're entering in a new name. We do not. All we do is we insert the new name into the array, and then we reload the list box. So all right, let's okay, so here, remember we got to do the test to see if the name exists already. But instead of reading through the file, we're going to read through the array. So we start out by saying, do we still need a try? Well, I'll just leave the try in there. So we start by saying, well, let's say we've done this. This is entering a new name. We're going to loop. No, we don't do this. Index equals 0. Int index equals 0. We're going to loop through this index, and we're going to say while index is less than first free index, and name exists is false, then we want to string compare I need this. We want to string compare array friends index. We want to string compare that with new name, and if it's true, true means it is true means it's true that it's case insensitive. It's true that we're ignoring case. And if that returns 0, then that means they're equal. And so then we set name exists equal to true. So once this is done, if name exists is false, I need this. Name exists is false, then we can add it to the array. So to add it to the array, this is so messed up, man. I don't need these try catches anymore. I don't need any of this stuff. This. If the name exists is false, then we want to array friends, first free index plus plus equals new name. And then we're going to reload the list box. Why does that look like that? Must not be something. And then go ahead and clear out the text box again. And give it focus. Why is it messed up? That works. Let's try. Oh, I'm not gonna. This should be here. Let's see. I need to, okay, we could have a try catch, or we could just test it ourselves. I'm just gonna test it ourselves. Let me bring this back here. And I'm gonna say if name exists equals false, then I'm gonna check to see if first free index is less than max friends minus 1. If this is true, then we can go ahead and add these names like this. We can go ahead and do this stuff. Otherwise, we gotta say else message box show friends overload or something, whatever. You get too much friends. All right, so and I didn't bother putting a test until we actually determined that we can add. So it's possible that you've reached your limit, but if you're trying to add in a name that's already exists, you can go ahead and pass along that message first. And it's only when it comes time to actually try to put it in. And so what'll happen is okay, so the other way we could have done it is we could have put a try catch, and it would be this thing that caused the exception to be thrown, because you would try to be writing into an array and it's bigger than the max size. All right, so so this adds into the array. This adds it into the, and then this loads the list box. Yes, this loads it into the list box. All right. Loads the array. Loads the array. Loads the list box. Deleting a name. We're just going to delete it. Well, okay, let's see if this works first. I'm going to see if this works. It's getting late. Build errors. Index does not exist in the current context. That's line 104. 104. While first free index. What am I doing here? This thing. All right. Now let's try. Okay, that's there. That's encouraging. Let's delete. Okay, let's look at the file. It's down here, down here, down here. It's this file. Let me open it up. Looks like this. And I can try to delete somebody. Let me try to delete Joe Schmo. And I go like this. Are you sure? Yes. Joe Schmo's still there. Oh. Anyway, yeah, Joe. It was. Ooh, Joe Schmo's gone from here, and still here. Well, that's quite strange. Let's see what that would be. So we deleted a name. Oh no, we didn't delete a name. No, I didn't do anything with the delete name yet. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, let's quickly throw in delete name here. That would be in unfriend. My unfriend. notes here. So sure, you want to delete? Yes. So we got a name to delete, and this is the index. All right. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm gonna get rid of all this. So I'm gonna okay, it's like this. Okay, so let's say I want to delete Charlie Brown. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through a loop from Charlie Brown down to the end, and I'm gonna just put Bruno Mars up where Charlie Brown is, and I'm gonna put Joe Jones up where Bruno Mars is, and then I'm gonna blank out Joe Jones, and that's how I'm gonna delete. But except for I'm gonna do this with the array, and that's how I will delete a name out of the array. I will just shift all the names up so it overwrites the name I want to delete, and then at the very end I have to actually erase out the last one because Joe Jones is going to be in both 5 and 4, and so I want to delete the last one. So to do that, I can do let's see, while while index to delete, while index to delete +1 is less than first free index. Well, it's less than first free index. Then array friends of index to delete +1 equals array friends no index to delete is equal to array friends index to delete +1. And then I gotta add 1 to something. Plus plus. What do we do? I gotta increment. Okay, I gotta do it this way. I want to increment first. Okay, there. So I'm gonna so this overwrites the index to delete. So it starts out index to delete is the actual name I want to delete, and while this loop happens, I overwrite that with the name with the one just above it, and then this thing actually increments it up, and this thing just keeps on looping until everything is pushed up one notch, and then after that I need to erase out the top one. So that's going to be array friends, and it's going to be index to delete. No, it's going to be first free index. No, it's going to be index to delete still equals nothing. Okay, that, and then I have to decrement first free index by 1. First free index minus. And then I load the list box again. Wow, I wonder if this is going to work. Let's try it. Okay, so let me, this is what I look like. Let me add in some bogus names. Bogus name. Oh, why isn't it working? Something is, it's stalled. I don't know what's going on. I better stop it. There's something funny going on. All right. What was I trying to do? I was trying to write a name. I was trying to add a name. Maybe I didn't test that before. Enter a new name. I got the name. Do I not increment something? Uh-oh, this looks awfully suspicious. I don't see any incrementing going on in here. I'm not seeing any incrementing going on in here. I'm going to increment it right here, plus plus. See if that works. Bogus name. Ah, there it is. Nameless bogey. Okay, that works. Okay, so oh, but that's not entering it in here because I don't have a save button. Times it. All right, forget that. Let me just reload it again. Okay, we're back to this. Okay, now let me delete Bruno Mars. He's not really my friend. I've never met the man. So I'm gonna go delete. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, it's erased from here, but it's not erased from here because I haven't written out the file. I have to put in the write out the file, but it certainly erased it here. And oh, by the way, now that this is different than this, that indicator should be on. We should see an indicator saying, and okay, so let's put a save file button in there. I got to put that in there right now. Here, okay, save file, toolbox. Let's see. Common controls button. And it's going to say save file or something, save array, whatever. And the name of it is going to be btn save file. All right, and let's make it a little bigger. And let's go in there. And here we're going to save the file. So that would look something like okay, so let's say they never specified a file name. I guess they always will have specified a file name. Yeah, so I'm just going to say let's see. First of all, I want to create a write array method. Private void write array. And what write array is going to do is it's going to try to write this array. Try stream writer, a stream writer variable called output file. And output file is equal to file.create text file name. I'll assume that exists. And then I have to write out the array. For integer index equals 0. Index is less than first free index. Index plus plus. Well, that is, I want to write the output file. This should be just for int. Not a problem. Output file, write line, array friends, index. And of course, I didn't really need to do that, to do this. All right, and so after you're done writing out the, after you're done writing it out, then you can close it. And I'm gonna say BT, okay, BTN button save file. Oh, button save file. Save file dot enabled equals false. So that'll make the button blank out, kind of. Yeah, right. And then I'm going to display out a message box show file written. Just to confirm that. That's good. I got to put a catch in here. Exception EX message box show display out the message. I didn't need to do that. All right, that displays out the message. Now, so that writes the array out. The save file will, I guess it should ask, are you sure? So that's what I have that here for. I'm going to declare a dialog result variable called result. That's fine. It's a fine name for it. I'm just call it rest. Rest for result equals message box dot show, and the question is going to be, are you sure you want to rewrite? Are you sure? Whatever. And there's got to be a title across save array, and then you got to say what kind of buttons you want down there, and we want an OK button and a cancel button. So I say message box buttons OK cancel. Okay, so that's going to declare this variable here, and it's going to display that up, and it's going to return an res. So if res equals dialog result dot OK, which is the only one we care about, then if it says OK, then write the array there. If it's not OK, it's not going to write the array. If it's not OK, the guy click cancel. Okay, this saves the file. So it just asks you, are you sure first? And so when we load up once we load up the array, we want to disable the save button because the array is exactly the same as a file. So let's button save dot enabled equals false. But once the array changes, once something changes, like here, this thing, it changes here, the array changes here. See here, it changes. We want to enable the button save file enabled equals true. This enables the save button because it changes. This adds something. When we delete something, delete name, yeah, this does it too. So when we delete a name, we want to enable that btn save file dot enabled equals true. All right, let's see if this works. All right, so notice it's defaulted, so I'm going to say Joe Schmo, enter, and now I see that it goes like that. And let's see what the file looks like. Looks like that. Arthur Jackson, whatever. Enter, and now I click Save File. Are you sure? Yes. File written. Click over here, and oh look, there they are. Now I can let's delete Charlie Brown. Are you sure? Yes, I want to delete him. Oh look, now it says that. Now it's highlighted again. I can save the file. Are you sure? Yes, file written, and then Charlie Brown's gone. All right. Okay, so that's that. Now this last thing, the last thing you're supposed to do. Oh, okay, I didn't do the exit thing. Well, that's easy. Ooh, how can I do that? 1157. Exit. Where's exit? Where's the exit thing? Here's exit. Exit. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to say if where's my exit? Exit button. Okay, here's how I'm going to do it. If a button save file dot enabled. Okay, if it's enabled, then that means there's something that can be saved. If it's not enabled, there's nothing that can be saved. It's the same. It doesn't need to be saved. Okay, so I'm going to use that as my flag. If the save button is enabled, that means you know it was set to enable because the thing changed. So if that's true, then I should ask dialog result. I'll use the res again, equals message box dot show array changed. Wanna save? Okay, so that's the question, and it's got to say exiting or something as the title up above, and I want the message box buttons to be yes, no. Okay, so that's what I want that to be, and if it comes back and it says if res equals dialog result yes, if you say yes, you want to save, then you got to do this stuff. You say just say save file, right? What's save? Write array. I just say write array. Write array. Where is that? Write array. There. Great. And just in case whatever happens, I can say btn save file. Oh no, it does clear it out when you write, right? Write array. Yes. Okay, so let's try it. All right, so I'm going to delete Bruno Mars. He's not really my friend. I don't really know. And then, okay, so then it says that. And now I say exit. It says array changed. Want to save? Yes. File written. And now it's done. And it closes, and now we see Bruno Mars is gone. All right, so that's how you do that. It's 12 noon. This last thing, add a function to your program where the user, what's going on here? Add a function to your program where the user can enter a name and click a button, and it'll say, you know, that's very similar to the logic that we already have when we try to delete something. When we're trying to delete something, delete a name. Let's see, not delete a name. Oh, add a name. When we want to enter a name, we go through this process of trying to see if it's in there already. And what we can do is, like here, instead of, so it's the same function as this thing. Except for if the name doesn't exist, you say the name is not in the file. And if the name does exist, you say the name exists. It is index number, whatever the index was, whatever it stopped at. It would be this number. So that's very easy. It's just a subset of this program here, and so you should be able to figure that out. All right, so that takes us to the completion of assignment 10. Are there any questions? All right, if you have questions, just email me, and so I'll post this up as soon as I can, and thanks for watching.